Yeah.
What's up, Knicks fans? This NBA playoffs, don't let an injury rule out your bet, especially when every game is on the line. While other sportsbooks may box you out, Fanatics Sportsbook's Fair Play protects all bets from first half injuries. So if your player gets injured in the first half, Fanatics Sportsbooks makes sure to keep your bet out on the court. Make the switch today and find more ways to win with Fanatics Sportsbook. Winning hits different here.
Exhale.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by Fanatics Sportsbook. This one was not for the faint of heart. Look, I know I speak for my co-host tonight, DJ Zullo, when I say when you watch playoff basketball for long enough, and we have both been watching it for more than 3 decades, you just are never surprised by anything. And we, as soon as Embiid, to take everybody behind the scenes, as soon as Embiid it was announced that he was going to be out, immediately our Knicks Film School Patreon chat, we started going back and forth, me, DJ Benji, Andrew, and we're kind of spitballing, okay, how big of an advantage is it for the Knicks, and could the Sixers actually benefit, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. And I think where I came down was like, look, it doesn't mean an automatic win. That goes without saying. It's the playoffs. Like, crazy shit happens. And I'm very curious, DJ, to get into the reasons why this was as close as it was for as long as it was. If it was merely the fact that up until the fourth quarter, the Philadelphia 76ers were hitting half of the threes that they attempted. I think that did a lot of heavy lifting in terms of why the score was as close as it was, as was the fact that the Knicks were not hitting any threes and were 25% from deep through the first 3 quarters. Now, the difference is neither team really hit shots in the fourth, although the Knicks made a couple more threes than the Sixers in the fourth quarter. And there were some just massive non-3-pointers that we'll get to. There was some big time crunch time shot making from several Knicks, not just Jalen Brunson. And we'll talk about all of that. But look, and the other thing, I'm burying the lead a little bit here. I mean, no, that's not true. The lead is they're up 2-0 in the conference semifinals, and they're 2 wins away from getting to these conference finals. Let's not take that for granted. Let's not bury that. Let's appreciate that, because it's fucking really hard to get to this point in the NBA season. And a lot of teams try, and most of them don't get there. So up 2-0 conference semis off a team that really came to play tonight deserves to be, have the time taken on it. But right after that, OG Anunoby left the game with 2 or 3 minutes left. I retweeted, Benji went and found the clip of it. It looked like I don't know what you would want to say. He was pushing off, I guess, maybe on one of his legs, and he was hobbling, and then he dunked after that and then asked out of the game. I'll just ask you the first question. I hate that this is the first question I have to ask you, but what did that look like to you?
I couldn't tell if it was a cramp. It didn't feel like, we all remember the hamstring injury from 2 years ago against Indiana.
At the end of game 2 of the conference semifinals when the Knicks went up 2-0.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't I mean, I'm just putting
first thing I thought
I'm
of
talking about it. Yeah. So it didn't look like that one looked bad as it happened. So this one, it didn't look as rough, but hamstrings, especially with Anunoby, it's always a concern. If it's that, we don't know. We did take a hard fall late or midway through the fourth quarter on a block attempt as well. Who knows? We'll hopefully get an update before we sign off here. But
I would actually be surprised if we got an update tonight. I think Mike Brown's going to go with, I don't have an update. He just said it's something, whatever, and he asked out.
Maybe we'll at least know what is going on. Did he cramp up? Did he, or, I mean, we may get a little information.
What we don't want is any kind of report tonight that OG Anunoby's getting an MRI tomorrow.
Right.
That's what we don't want. If that's the case, then that's bad.
Look, I mean, it just speaks to the fact that this is so much about a war of attrition. I mean, it's part of the narrative coming into the game with Embiid obviously not playing. The Knicks have been really healthy throughout these playoffs. So hopefully this is just a minor tweak of something and that he's going to be good to go for this series and beyond.
Yeah, and if you look at the playoffs, you could say that every series in part has been decided by health and injuries. With I guess the only exception would be the game one of this game that's the series that's going on right now, San Antonio, Minnesota. Minnesota overcame their injuries to win that game. San Antonio's been healthy, but that's neither here nor there. So look, we'll see what's up with OG. I don't. Before I let you go, we'll have a quick conversation about, okay, let's say he has to miss extended time in this series. Like, what would that look like? How much would that mean? Let's focus on the game for now, because I think the players, the Knicks deserve that much, because look, was this a perfect basketball game? It was not. We mentioned the fact that the Knicks really could not hit shots from deep. They, in fairness, countered that by hitting a really, really high percentage of their looks inside the arc. And I really want to talk to you about how I think their offensive process tonight was really good overall. Maybe some missed opportunities here or there. The turnovers in the second half in particular, I think, bothered you. They ended up with 13 for the game. That's not a ton.
Really. To start the fourth quarter, I think it was two out of the first three possessions were
exactly. Yeah. So that was rough. But overall, let's start on that side of the ball, even though I don't think that was the more impressive side of the ball, but I do want to start on offense, because no Embiid tonight. How do you think that they handled their not being Embiid? How do you think they took advantage of the fact that there was no Embiid? And what did you see from the Knicks offense tonight?
Well, it's funny. This might sound wild, but it almost felt like when Cat went out and Huck Porty came in, it felt like the most damaging player not playing was Mitchell Robinson on offense for the Knicks, because it just felt like they didn't have that pick and roll duo with he and Brunson to sort of build your offense from that. And it felt like they were really sort of finding themselves on that end, searching. Obviously Cat had it all going offensively, and the Sixers had Drummond had no chance to stay in front of him. Cat he can get whatever he wanted. And once he left, it was to the point where I felt like Brunson didn't trust Huck Porty. There was one, like they ran a double drag and it felt like he had Huck Porty on a lob and he just didn't throw it. And that's a pass he's been throwing to Mitch all playoffs. And when you don't have that, you don't have Mitch's actual screening to create that separation. It felt like it was a slog there for a while offensively. And look, they had to just grind this one. It was like, especially in the fourth quarter, where and I don't know if you felt the same way. It just felt like they were resorting to this Brunson isolation ball. But to Nick Nurse's credit, I think their thinking was Paul George is now guarding Cat.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get to.
We can't deal with Paul George knocking the ball away. And he's got, still at his age, some of the best hands in basketball. I think he forced at least one turnover there on an entry pass from Alvarado. They just didn't trust that Cat was going to be secure enough with the ball with George guarding him. I thought it was a really nice adjustment late in the game for Nurse to use the George on Cat matchup to take the Knicks out of their offense. And then Brunson had to get to this situation where, all right, we can get the switch. Barlow is long. He's athletic. He can stay in front of me. The Sixers are really loading up in their gaps, so there really wasn't a driving lane.
And Hart was in the game, so you know that there's going to be help coming from Hart if you go down. Yeah.
And Brunson, look, he missed a couple, but he made a couple. And I don't know what.
Well, I think it was 2 or 3 in crunch time, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah. And He had one sort of like straight on, and then another one he kind of spun back over his left shoulder, high arcing shot. It was, classic Brunson, just getting to a point where, you're not getting the most efficient look, but you're getting a shot on goal for a player that has made a ton of them in those situations. And you really, if you're Mike Brown, you're not going to turn the ball over, and you're going to guarantee a relatively, for Jalen Brunson, a pretty efficient look in that spot. I get it now. In the moment, I'm like, all right, we can just run through Cat or just make this more Cat centric. But as I'm processing it, I think Mike Brown obviously made the right decision, because Brunson did enough in those situations to get the Knicks over the hump there. So
it's
again,
easy to question in the moment, though. I think it was easy to question in the moment. Those were tough shots, but playoffs often come down to our tough shot makers versus your tough shot makers. Who's going to make more tough shots? And the Knicks made more tough shots tonight. Maxey had looks certainly in the fourth. They did not go down.
He had no legs left. I mean, that's a big story of how this game ended, because there was a point in the first half where you just felt like the Knicks were not able to keep him out of the paint. I thought some of the straight line drives by the 76ers on those 4-on-3 advantages, or just getting to the point where they were either getting 2 on the ball and Maxey was getting off it really quickly, and then you had Grimes and Oubre and Edgecombe doing a nice job of making the Knicks pay. And that's what created, you mentioned the 3-point efficiency for the 76ers. They shot a high percentage, but a lot of those were just great looks out of the corner. And it was based off how the Knicks were defending Maxey. And when they weren't doing that, Maxey was able to turn the corner and really take advantage of them in the paint. And that really dried up for the most part in the second half. Credit to the Knicks for obviously being a little more aggressive, but I thought Maxey's just didn't have the legs, especially like midway through the fourth quarter and on.
So a couple things. Look, credit to the Knicks for leaving the guys open that you want to leave open. Kelly Oubre Jr. hit 3 threes in this game. There was, it's like they weren't. Now, look, the Sixers, the thing is, they're not a great 3-point shooting team, and obviously Embiid not being there makes it a little bit even easier. The thing that Andrew was yelling about it in the moment in the fourth quarter is you had Cat out there with 4 fouls. And Maxey was getting him involved in these action after action after action. And the pass was coming so quick. They were not trying to get Cat out of the game, or trying to get, or Maxey was not able to, probably, maybe to your point, because he was just tired to try to draw fouls on Cat on those when he was turning the corner there.
Well, part of it was they're weakening him to his left hand. So a lot of those where he's going to his left, it's just, he's still bursty and very fast, but it's not the same when he's getting to his right hand. That's when he gets those, I'm getting downhill and I'm kind of launching myself into the backpedaling big, and he'll get a ton of fouls out of that. Yep. Going left, which is what you saw primarily in the fourth quarter, Cat, I think, was able to sort of time that a little better and just keep his body from initiating that contact. So I think it was a combination of the Knicks being disciplined and where they're forcing Maxey. But if Maxey is like at like peak energy and like early in the game, sometimes he can sort of break that icing or pushing to the sideline to his left hand and still get to his right. He just didn't have enough there. But again, it's the Knicks being disciplined, and this is a team that didn't have a great defensive performance in the first half. The second half, and especially the fourth quarter, man, that was, again, championship level defense, which has been the consistent thing that we've seen from this team for a couple of months now. And that's just what they are. And they were able to turn it on late and take this one home.
Points allowed, Philadelphia, 33 first quarter, 29 second quarter, 28 third quarter, 12 in the fourth quarter. I thought the Knicks' defensive effort was, I agree with you, Deej, in the first half. It was Philadelphia came out like a desperate team, like a team that did not want to go down 2-0, that did not want to have their season effectively now be on the brink, going into game 3. And the Knicks, I didn't think they defended poorly. I didn't think they were lacking effort generally, but there was and when you notice the difference?
Yep.
You notice the difference when Landry Shamet came in the game with about 4 or 5 minutes to go
in the
second quarter. Yep. And you saw that uptick. And look, Mike Brown had a rough couple games there in the Hawks series, and yet since then, it's just there's the stuff that you have to praise him for keeps piling up. Like guys in the rotation, out of the rotation, everybody has stayed ready, and everybody and he's pushed a lot of the right buttons, and putting Shaman in there, I thought that was massive in the moment. They were obviously
he matched their energy. He matched it.
He matched it. Yes.
He matched the 76ers energy. And look, it wasn't just the 0-1 deficit. When you don't have your bellwether and Joel Embiid, that adds to it. So there was no scenario where the Knicks were, just the human nature of it all. There was no scenario where the Knicks are going to start this game and be at the level of the 76ers in terms of their desperation, their energy, their fight. It just isn't. You almost are, you succumb to that when you just have a 1-0 advantage in a series. Now the team is playing probably a little looser and a little more desperate when they don't have their superstar center. So for the Knicks to stay connected in that first half, credit to Landry Shamet to help that along, but to stay connected. And if you're the 76ers fan, you're probably looking at those turnovers and saying, we left points on the board. And if we had just, cut that a little bit by a third, we might be having a very different post-game show. But yeah, the Knicks staying connected in the first half and then just able to just do enough late. It's a really good win. I mean, look, we just experienced 4 obscenely incredible, almost euphoric victories. This was different. This was a lot of anxiety, a lot of trauma, maybe some PTSD late, but it was a hell of a win against a team, as you said, it was very desperate to win that game.
We said it at halftime. I think the Sixers had to be disappointed that they were not up by close to double digits in that basketball game, and you nailed it, Deej. 10 turnovers. The Knicks scored 13 points off of those 10 turnovers, which leads me to the next point. The Knicks were able to put up 61 points and a half in which Karl-Anthony Towns played 8 minutes of basketball and which you did not have your backup center, Mitchell Robinson. And I know when you think of Mitchell Robinson, you do not necessarily think offensive juggernaut, but he is an offense unto himself, not only for the offensive rebounding advantages that he gave you, which the Knicks were not able to get a ton of offensive rebounds in this game, although I do think they got a couple.
Got some late.
I was about to say they got a couple key ones when it mattered, as they often do. Funny how that works out. But back to the Mitch point and not having Mitch, it goes back to what you said before, which is that when Brunson and Mitch, like those two, they're as good a pick and roll combination, as there is in terms of the comfort level. Like it's like a warm and fuzzy blanket for Jalen Brunson when Mitchell Robinson's in there.
Yeah, it's the lobs. It's Brunson getting to the rim on those Mitch Gortat screens where he's able to roll and then screen off the big that's defending him and allow Brunson this straight line to the rim that they got 2 or 3 times in game 1. So those possessions weren't there. And the Sixers were, I thought, very intentional and executed all their off-ball switching to a
they were
in the first half. Like
phenomenal,
they were brilliant
defensively. They really were phenomenal.
They made everything hard. Yeah.
But the points off of turnovers, that helped balance the scales in terms of getting the Knicks some points. And obviously weather the storm of the Philadelphia threes. Fast forward to the third quarter, Cat obviously starts it with the 3 fouls. And I thought the offensive display of basketball, I mean, two-way display of basketball, because Cat, when he wasn't fouling in this game, Deej, I thought he was pretty great defensively. Yeah, but that's been the whole playoffs.
Yep.
That offensive display of basketball from Karl-Anthony Towns in the third quarter, man. I'll pull up the stats really quick right now. Just in the third quarter alone, Karl-Anthony Towns in 7.5 minutes, 11 points, 3 of 3 from the field, 4 or 5 from the line, and 3 assists. He was the Knicks offense for those 7.5 minutes. And just like, it's just another piece of evidence that this playoff run, and you guys talked about it on the X's and O's pod. The matchups have been favorable, right? We'll call it like it is. The matchups have been favorable.
Yep.
You still got to go out there and do it. And my God, is he going out there and doing it?
It's been incredible. And look, the Knicks have done a really good job of not just playing through him and allowing him these cutters and the opportunities to find these seams for passes, but it's also opening the floor up for him to, when he is going to post up, he doesn't have to worry about players digging down and disrupting his dribble as much. He has had the one post up against Bona where he was able to back him down and then spin off his right shoulder. And it was a clear side. The Sixers did not double that, which I think was probably the right move. And you want Cat to sort of, you want him to beat you in a one-on-one, and you don't want to continue to put silver on a silver platter, these passing lanes, but he was able to just do enough there, which made the fouls so frustrating because
it was the third one. The third one it was the only one that really truly got under my skin because it was the first minute of the second quarter. You just got to be smarter there.
Yeah, because he's just so, and look, this has been obviously the theme of his career, but it just feels like the importance for him somehow has been even elevated to another degree because we're seeing this vision, literally the vision of him passing, but the vision of the team around him.
Yeah.
And what is it doing for Brunson? Like the amount of weight that's being taken off his shoulders.
Yep.
Like, and you see the gravity of Brunson, where you had the play second half where it was almost Curry-esque, where he's setting a screen. Maxey and Edgecombe both go to him. I don't know if it was Bridges who was involved in that split action, cuts to the rim. But that's the play that Steph Curry gets 1 or 2 times a game, and it was Cat finding him in the Draymond role. So you're seeing this offense sort of become this like ultimate kind of version of itself. And that's why Cat's availability is just so important. And you just knew with Mitch not playing and Huck Porty just didn't bring it enough today, and he was out of sorts. It was a rough stretch for him.
And Mike Brown did not go back to him in the second half. And look, I've been hard on Huck Porty over the course of the year. I didn't think he went out there and embarrassed himself or anything, but there was a reason he is a third pick, you know?
Yeah.
He didn't fall flat on his face. I leave it to me to be given the compliments to Ariel Huck Porty. I did not think I'd be in this spot. I don't know.
He ate up some minutes, and look, it's like a pitcher coming in the 5th inning, and the game is still like within reach, and you don't give up a 3-run home run. You kind of keep it to the point where you still are connected. Which, look, third string centers, that's probably all you can ask for in a playoff scenario. But Cats, that third quarter, just the passing and the scoring and just the whole repertoire that he's having right now. And it just feels like the passing is even improving to the point where game by game, you could see him as he's doing this more. He's becoming more comfortable. He's becoming a little more audacious with some of these passes with the right hand that are
there were a couple.
There are a couple of those, but look, that again,
he had to find. Oh my goodness, he had to find to someone in the weak side corner. And I don't know how he delivered the pass. And they missed the 3. It was good look. I forget, it might have been hard. I forget. But like,
yeah,
it's crazy to say, but it feels Jokic light at times, you know, in terms of the quality of the passes.
Look, it's different because he doesn't pass off movement on that level, but the standstill passing is, you know, there was a point where early when Mike Brown was first hired, I thought of like, all right, can this be Sabonis light in a way with the passing?
Yeah.
But it's different because Sabonis is such a dynamic passer off the move, but the face-up game and the elbow touches, that was all sort of like when I was doing all my preview and film work for the Mike Brown hiring, it felt like that stuff you can sort of bring back or bring over to the Knicks. And it was spotty in the regular season, but it's just blossomed in playoffs. And yeah, the matchups have been favorable, but you don't shoot and pass at his, like the efficiency and the passing rate right now. Jokic is the only comparison in terms of just the raw numbers with the efficiency and the passing numbers. There's no other center doing this.
Well, in the
playoffs, especially
in the playoffs, the 2 most efficient high volume shooters in the playoffs both play for the Knicks. It's Karl-Anthony Towns and it's OG Anunoby. And we haven't talked, other than mentioning the injury, we haven't talked about OG a lot. And don't worry, we're getting to Macau. I am sure that, and I hope there is a subset of Knicks fans out there. You're like, leave it to Macri to bury Macau Bridges. We're at minute 23 of the postgame show. You haven't mentioned his name fucking once after he has the best game he's had, maybe of the whole, certainly the most important performance he's had of the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
We're getting to him. Let's go to OG for a second because I don't know what else there is to say about OG Anunoby at this point other than this is, I guess, just who. And he wasn't even hot from deep tonight. It was only 207. However, one of, if not the biggest shots of the game was there was it looked like not that the Philadelphia was going to run away with it, but at the end of the third quarter, there were like Philly was making their push. OG had a really nice drive to put them up 84-81. Philadelphia came back, tied it because of course, it's 86-86. This is right around when Josh Hart got hurt. And on the same possession, OG Anunoby had 2 offensive rebounds, and then he ended up making a 3. Yes. That felt so big in the moment. And I understand there were a lot of
wrote it down too.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. There were a ton of big buckets in the fourth quarter, but like sometimes a certain possession in an earlier quarter can feel just as big, and that one just felt huge.
Yeah, it did. And he's been really astounding. And it's, to me, I know the shooting has been elite, didn't have it all going from three tonight, but it's just the drives to me that are just at a new level. It feels like it's
poise.
Him, poise, right?
He's poise and power. It's a nice combo.
It's a great combo, and it's almost like he has discovered that, once he just straight line drives and you get a defender sort of like on your hip or basically connected to you, but he's not in front. Like, there's just no way for that defender to then get back in front of him. And it just feels like if he's in the restricted area, the ball's going in the hoop, whether it's a dunk. He had a couple of layups where he wasn't able to dunk it, but he had one over Bona that was just really impressive with the right hand. Off a 2 foot, he is just an absolute monster finisher right now. And you couple that with a 3-point shooting, and then what he's doing on defense, which obviously is just a constant, taking away one side of the floor, the off-ball defense, the on-ball defense when he has to have it is there as well.
4 steals.
Do you have 4 steals today?
4 steals and a block.
I mean, it's incredible. This is like
it's all-star stuff.
It's all-star, all-NBA. I mean, that's the level he's playing at, and he's had stretches like this as a Knick, but nothing close to like what he's doing right now, and has shown signs of sort of like rising to the moment in the playoffs with the Knicks. And it's all working right now. And look, there will be a regression to the mean in terms of the what he's doing on offense, likely.
Yeah.
But even if there is a slight dip in the offense, he's still, with the defense, going to be an absolute critical piece, but a guy that is going to be like right up there for the third best. You put him up against the third best player on most of these teams. I mean, he's clearing a lot of them, and that's how good he's playing right now.
Conversations Knicks in terms of who has the best third guy, Knicks and OKC, but their third guy's hurt right now also. So hopefully OG can make it back sooner. Let's get to Bridges, because again, I wanted him the up and under that he missed. It would have been cool if that went down, one, because it would have saved us some stress, and two, would have meant the Knicks would have had 4 20-point scorers in a playoff game, which I don't think that's ever happened before. And if it has, I don't remember it, Deej. Someone's going to tell me like, yeah, it happened in fucking game 6 against Atlanta. Right. Maybe it did. But a lot of things happened to that
Andrew's
game.
on it.
Andrew's on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Finished with 18 points, 9 of 13 from the field. Didn't hit either of his threes, but 9 of 11 from 2. And the combination of smart off-ball movement, which he took advantage of, and he's a big part of this cat thing that's happening. But also, like, middle second quarter, again, felt like the Knicks were a little bit not on the ropes, but like not far from being on the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of mid-rangers, that were important. And then, defensively, had a big steal of Maxi in the third quarter. And then, of course, that big bucket on what was really a busted play.
That was the one where Hart lost it, got it back.
Yes.
And ended up finding Bridges to put him up 6.
And it was 105-99. And it was like the first moment, I think, that you could really breathe as a Knicks fan. I just thought this was a really, 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 really nice effort from Bridges tonight.
Yeah, he was so good. And look, the defense has been there since game 1 of the Atlanta series. It's I would say the defense against Maxi, I have to look back at it. It felt like a team-wide breakdown versus what he was doing, but there could have been some spotty moments there in the first half, sort of containing Maxi, but overall the defense has been great. And then the shot making, and this is just the levels where you need guys to be able to just bail you out sometimes. And this is the one skill where, the transition and the cutting and the finishing when he has a lane and some opportunities there, and his off-ball movement are all like critical to how this team operates, greasing the wheels, but also just like we need a tough bucket. And it's whether it's Brunson or whether it's Bridges or Anunoby now, the Knicks have 3 guys where you can feel relatively confident that once the shot goes up, it's got a good chance to go in. And that was that Bridges shot at 105-99. That it's a shot he's made. It's a shot I don't know if I felt it was going in, but I felt comfortable with him being in that spot and just rising up and taking a shot that he's taken hundreds of times this season and probably like 1,000 times in his career. Just able to get that release point and shoot over the top of I think it was Barlow too. That was the one contesting the shot who really disrupted the Knicks at times with his defense. So to take that shot in that moment and make it huge for him. And look, we all sort of like talked about it at the end of game 6, him having what was it, 10 of 12 and having that opportunity to see the ball go in a little bit. It has carried over, and it would have felt like the Knicks would have won that game in that fashion. And if he had like a 3 for 12 performance, he would have been happy the Knicks won by a gazillion points. But I think there would have been that lingering doubt of him. It was important for him.
It was important because they need him. He is just a higher level defender than, I mean, we love Deuce here. We love Landry Shamet here. We sung Landry's praises before, changed the game when he came in. McCall's a different animal when he's humming on defense. And you will be hard pressed to convince me that, look, he always stays professional. His approach is part of the reason why they traded what they traded to get him. That's an ultimate professional approach. But like, you can't tell me when he's struggling on offense that doesn't have a little bit of an impact on his confidence level on the defensive end. And I think he's defended like a confident player, since the shots have gone down a little bit, and they need it. They need it if they want to accomplish their goals. Couple other quick hitters, and then we'll maybe look forward a little bit. I don't want to keep it for too long. Jordan Clarkson didn't play in the second half. I thought he had a couple of important moments in the first half. Grabbed, because this is what Jordan Clarkson does now. He's apparently Mitchell Robinson. 3 offensive rebounds in 8 minutes in the first half. Had a couple buckets.
The lack of 3-point confidence for him is kind of a problem right now. I would just say that there's
March 20th, Deej.
Is that the last time?
March 20th.
He's made a 3?
March 20th.
Wow. Well, that's but I get he's in his credit, like the ball pressure continues to be really good in the offensive rebounding, but the 3-point shot coming back would be just really beneficial for his minutes for sure.
Yeah, it's tough because it's tough to have a perimeter. Now look, Josh is struggling a little bit as well.
Big one.
Funny how often he does that.
99, he tied it at 99. I was like, I mean, look, who knows if the Knicks win the game, but that was one of those.
Was that the biggest shot of the game?
It felt that way when he hit it, that it was a massive shot.
I mean, they were down 3 with 6 and change to go, whereabouts, right? Something like that.
You just don't know how the crowd, and if you get down 5 after that or 6, it just the way that the air would have been let out. It just felt like a very important shot, and I think Legler said it because I think we were all sort of observing Hart with this lack of confidence that he's been dealing with in these playoffs with the shot. And there were some moments with Bona guarding him. I think in the second quarter, I believe the Sixers, when the Knicks didn't have a center on the floor, where they went to that sort of look that he's dealing with it right now. And for him to come up and make that shot after injuring his left thumb or left wrist on Grimes' head there. So to make that shot, again, he's made a bunch of big shots in his Knicks career in the playoffs. Shouldn't be shocked by it, but still impressive that he was just able to rise up and make that one. Felt really big in the moment.
You always expect those to go down. 4 turnovers, got to clean that up, obviously, but he did counteract that with 3 steals. Again, Knicks, forcing turnovers, I think was a big part of tonight. Talked about Shamet, talked about Huck Porty. Deuce, 21 minutes, 1 of 5. His 3 also felt big in the moment.
That one that he made, he had just missed one.
Yes.
I think a possession or 2 before, and just the confidence that he took that one, tied the game in 92. I was just really impressed that he was able to just, with no hesitation, rise up and confidently make that one. Another huge shot. He didn't have it going at all offensively. I thought his defense against Maxi was really good. He was primarily or had a lot of the Maxi responsibility in that second half, especially in the fourth quarter. Again, keeping Maxi to his left hand, weakening him to that side. That's a big job for the point of attack defender in that scheme. Thought Deuce did a good job.
And let's not sleep on the point that, like, look, we all said it. The Knicks don't have an ideal Tyrese Maxey defender. And as I talked about with Fred Katz on the Dean Wade draft, there's probably 2 ideal Tyrese Maxey defenders in the league, and they're twins, and neither of them play for the Knicks. But just the ability to have, I mean, I don't know how long the list you want to make. At the very least, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Deuce all being credible in terms of being able to, like, that has to take a toll. And then, if you could have Alvarado kind of in your back pocket. And then even if you need to go to like a Shamet for a possession, you don't feel terrible about that. So the fact that they have all these options, and thus far, at least, it does not feel like Maxey has been able to, I said this before the series, it could go one of 2 ways. You throw all these different guys at Maxey and it starts to wear him down, or does he start to wear them down and feel like, doesn't matter who you throw at me, I'm going to get the upper hand? Look, only 2 wins, a lot of series left to go, but so far I think that's been an advantage Knicks.
Real quick on the Maxey piece of it. So the way they defended him in the first half, it was pretty aggressive in how they were showing high, and I talked about how that opened some things up for the Sixers. It felt like they sort of they backed off that a little bit. And again, when I talk about pushing Maxey to the side, so it's more of a dictating him to one side of the floor versus showing 2 in the middle of the floor, which felt like more of the scheme in the first half. Second half, they're keeping it to the side. You're less exposed to that player that's setting that screen, getting into the short roll and then picking.
Why the change?
I think they were just picked. I hated sort of some of the looks. Sixers, they were great looks. I hated as a Knicks fan.
Yeah, I got you.
Some of those looks the Sixers were getting based out of that coverage, and I just thought changing it up and just keeping the ball to the side felt better, and the results were better. I thought, again, Maxey's the fatigue is a part of it, but the Knicks defended him much better in the second half, and you see the limitations with him as a passer, especially to his left hand. So it's not only the finishing with the left hand. Like, some guys can be as efficient as a scorer because you get the step back going to your left as being more of a go-to move, but it's the passing that you can't. Most guys can't make the left hand offhand skip pass to the weak side. So you're almost like taking one side of the floor off the table, and you're limiting that player to a straight line drive with their left hand, which is a difficult scenario, or getting into a step back, which obviously he has done a bunch in his career. But it's again, you're taking a lot of like tough solutions, and you're choosing the one you think that's going to be the least damaging to your defense, and that played out, I think, to a T for the Knicks in that second half and fourth quarter.
Couple things looking forward, and then get you out of here, and we'll get to super chats. So Paul George on Cat in the fourth. Do you see that being an earlier pivot in the series moving forward? And if so, how do you think the Knicks will respond?
Well, you saw one post up where, Cat blew the dunk, but
it was the easiest shot of the playoffs.
Yeah,
and
it was one of those where, like, just don't lose by 2, or 1, because you didn't want that one to have to come back and bite you. But that's
crazy.
Yeah. So, but as great as and as strong as George is as a defender, he just obviously wasn't able to keep Cat from getting backing him under the rim. George is obviously going to be a much more difficult scenario in a face-up situation because the deflection is just always going to be on the table. But I don't think Nurse can go to that for a long period of time.
This team was
too taxing. Yeah, because look at how much they're asking of him to do on offense right now.
Well, early on, he was the whole offense. Yeah.
Yeah. And if Embiid is not playing in game 3, I just don't think you can go to that, which just, again, it's like, they're very limited in what they can do with Cat. George might be the best matchup, but it's just not something you can do for an extended period. I thought Nurse did it in a really thoughtful way, and it worked for the portion of the game that he was guarding him. But I don't think you can extend that out for an entire game or even half a game.
Completely agree. I'm just checking out some of the post game quotes. VJ Edgecombe saying we feel like we should have won it. Came down to shot making. Talking about.
I saw Mike Brown didn't have an update on OG. So
yeah, and again, we'll keep our ear to the ground here and see if anything shakes. Just like, okay, so zoom out.
Mm-hmm.
up 2-0. I think they've played really well through the first two games. And I think they've certainly overcame some challenges in this game. Got the win, which was most important. Embiid's status uncertain. OG's status obviously uncertain. You hope Mitchell Robinson is back. Moving forward, I mean, it was an illness, so hopefully it's just one game, and that's nothing too serious. It's tough to talk about the rest of the series with the injury uncertainties, as they are. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
Because for Embiid, it was like, I think the report was like he woke up today and he just felt sore or whatever. Let's say OG has to miss the next two games. I'm not trying to put this into the universe, but spitballing here. And Embiid plays them both. Like, the expectation should still be that you win one of those games in Philly, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and the Sixers might be, I don't know what Vegas would have them, but you can argue they would be slight favorites, especially in a game 3 if in a 2-0 scenario. That makes complete sense, but you should win one of those games. I mean, the Sixers almost won tonight without Embiid. I think you'd have to. It's going to be very interesting to see how this team comes out in a game 3, just regardless of who's playing.
Sorry,
yeah, it's good. I mean, you've seen Shamet get starts in that scenario.
I bet you I would bet $1 on Shamet.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the history of this season tells us anything, it would be Shamet. Maybe he just likes Deuce in the reserve role.
Shamet started for OG in the last Philly game.
I know. Yeah. So, I mean, there's comfort there. And again, we've talked about it. Shamet really held his own in this game. I don't think he took a shot, but he's defensively, like, he's just a really good matchup for Maxey and Edgecombe in terms of his lateral quickness and physicality. It's just really, he can stay in front. He doesn't get those. They're not big enough to really expose him on that end. So I think defensively, obviously you're going to get a quality player there. Then offensively, like, his movement shooting is a real value to the Knicks. So yeah, I would guess Shamet.
Yeah.
But hopefully we don't have to see it. And OG is just, he gets over this quickly, but it's a good win. And look, we know that Brunson and Cat are going to play. And if you have those two playing at the way they're playing offensively, I know Brunson didn't have a great shooting night. I thought the environment for him was really tough, just with no Mitch and Cat being in some foul trouble. But I thought he did well with his opportunities in general and made some big shots late. And they have two just phenomenally gifted offensive players playing at a super high level right now. And yeah, they should win one of those games in Philly if we have no OG and Embiid is back. Absolutely.
Brunson 9 of 21. There were a handful of shots that missed tonight where I was like, I'm happy with. I mean, I didn't hate any of it. There was maybe, I think, one shot in the third. We called it out in the moment because like Cat clearly had it going, and it was a tough fadeaway too. It was like, did we really need that? Other than that shot, like, I thought Brunson's process was good tonight. And for the most part, it's not perfect, but for the most part.
Did you see Maxey's minutes, by the way?
Was it at 40? What?
46.
Jeez, I have it at 47 on the ESPN box score.
That's wild. I mean, look, I get it. They were desperate for a win, but that's you wonder why he was just completely gassed at the end of that game, and that's Nick Nurse is asking a hell of a lot from him.
Actually, let's do it now. Mark, put it up. Let's we'll do our stat of the game early, courtesy of our intern Jonah Kaufman. 72 seconds. That is how long Tyrese Maxey sat in this game. Freaking wild. Yeah.
He is a incredible athlete
right there.
That's wild. Nick Nurse tried his best to sort of like get the team with the finish line with some timeouts, but you're asking a lot of a player that is commanding your offense and doing everything on that end to play that many minutes, man. That's
most minutes any player has played in a regulation playoff game this season. And this is great. Great job, Jonah, pulling this, because I didn't even realize it, even though it's right there in the plus minus. The Knicks and Sixers were even in Maxey's 46 minutes and 48 seconds. In the 72 seconds he sat, Knicks outscored him by by 6 points, and that was the end of the game. So
that's incredible.
That's
the stat of the night. Stat of the game. Absolutely.
Reminiscent
Yeah.
Of Game 6 against Miami. What was that, 3 years ago now? When Brunson sat for like a minute or 2 minutes in the game. And the Heat outscored us by like 6 points. Great stat, Jonah. Anything else we haven't touched on that you wanted to get to before I let you go?
I like the pace with the small ball lineup in the second quarter. Just felt like they were getting some things going there. And just offensively, I like that. The Brunson had the Knicks started to like really hone in on what the Sixers were doing with their off-ball screen. There was one possession where Hart had a layup that was generated by Brunson screening his own man. So he screened Edgecombe, knowing that they're going to have a switch there. So Brunson screens his own.
So you tweet about that.
Yeah, Sixers can't switch, and Hart gets a downhill layup. Just like a really gritty win. It's a satisfying win. It's probably more satisfying than the game one, because you just knew this team was up against it in terms of the emotional edge the Sixers were going to have, and you're going to have to win these games. You're going to have to win a lot of them to get to your ultimate goal. So this is a good one. Build some scar tissue in a good way, and just hoping for good news on the OG front, and we'll be good to go game 3.
It's all eyes on OG 100%. And I'll just say that the most prominent small ball lineup, which was Anunoby, Bridges, Hart, Shamet, Brunson, outscored, played 7.5 minutes, outscored Philly 19-13. So 7.5 minutes, gave up only 13 points and scored 19. That's pretty good. And then the 3 minutes and 16 seconds of it was Alvarado and McBride with Hart, Bridges, and Anunoby. But again, didn't get wiped. Only got outscored by 1, and there were 2 other small ball lineups, each outscored by 1 in limited minutes. So like, small ball was good tonight. The small ball was good. Good call out by you there.
Yep, carried them home.
Yeah. Man.
Ooh.
Something's wrong with my headphones. Oh, wait, no!
Oh, it's dearly beloved. We are gathered here today, joined accordingly to do this thing we call life. I need everybody to bow their heads and close their eyes in a moment of somber prayer as we pray for our brother OG Anunoby and his whatever he hurt in the late fourth quarter. On behalf of the New York Knicks and every Knicks fan everywhere, we would like to sacrifice a few things. One, I will sacrifice the New York Jets, the New York Mets, and the New York Nets. Oh, that's right. We don't acknowledge them anyway. I sacrifice going to Summer League this summer because that expense is not worth it. I expense Kevin Danishevsky.
Sacrifice Kevin Danishevsky.
I sacrifice Kevin Danishevsky.
I wish we could expense Kevin Danishevsky.
On behalf of all Knicks fans everywhere, we send our best wishes and our best thoughts to OG Anunoby, because the championship ceiling very much is dependent on a progress report tomorrow. So, thank you, everybody.
Andrew, for anybody who doesn't know, we have like 9,000 people watching, so I'm guessing some of them don't know. The gentleman who's just on, Andrew Claudio, his dad is a pastor. He couldn't call his
Several texts have been said to send immediate connections and voicemails or whatever he has to send. The direct line to the big guy. Okay.
I remember there was a time in the Catholic Church you could like pay off priests for shit. Can we do that maybe?
Since my dad's not Catholic, no, he can't.
Listen, I'm sure he'll take a couple of bucks under the table. Whatever I got to do, man. It's closest I've come to a championship. Andrew's not pleased. Oh goodness, indulgences. That's what they are. Indulgences. Selling indulgences. Yes.
For those needing the completion of the question from earlier, the last time the Knicks had 4 players score 20 points in a playoff game, you got to go all the way back to last year when they did it 3 times during the postseason. Game 3 against the Pistons, Game 4 against the Celtics, and Game 6 against the Celtics. The time you have to go to before that instance, before last postseason, you got to go all the way back to 1972 In fact, some trivia. Can you name the four Knicks that did it in 1972 on April 11th, a 107-101 win over the Baltimore Bullets?
Clyde.
Clyde is one.
Pearl.
Pearl is two. Oh, no, Pearl is not one. He had 9 points in this game. DJ, do you have any guesses?
DeBusschere?
Dave DeBusschere is the correct one. So you've said Clyde and DeBusschere.
Bradley.
There's two others. Bill Bradley is one of them. Friend of the pod. Exactly 20.
I mean, the obvious one is Reed, but Reed was hurt for a lot of that playoffs.
Willis Reed did not play in this game.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Had 12 rebounds in this game too.
Jesus Christ. One of the 75 greatest players of all time. Backup center. My Lord. It's late.
I believe the name you're looking for is Jerry Lucas.
Yes.
Okay.
Jerry, was it him?
Correct.
Okay. That's a terrible job by me.
Also, the Knicks are currently, according to our friends at Fanatics Sportsbook, favored on Friday night, -2. 2-point favorites.
Okay. I mean, look, win that game, and it's like I'm sure that they will. I'm sure that they will come out with the proper amount of energy.
Andrew, how was tonight for you watching it? Were you
terrifying?
Okay. you have a confidence that John and I do not share, generally speaking, watching games. I didn't know how you were experiencing this one.
So I'll say this: the fact that the whole game was one possession added to the experience. I will say, until the OG injury, I've been the same all postseason about like the whole playoffs, which is why we entered the way we did. I obviously don't. I try to be more positive. I've leaned more positive this postseason for sure.
Yeah.
Even if they lost tonight, I was still going to have the same confidence. OG Anunoby getting hurt. I lived that life 2 years ago. I will say part of the Mikal Bridges experience or trade was that, hey, if OG gets hurt, like last postseason, we have another one. I don't know if John's going to like this, DJ, but the other part that is a parallel to 2 years ago is that the last head coach, when OG went down in game 2, went to a Precious Achiuwa starting 5. I'm much more confident that the collaboration coaching staff will look at the options and say, hey, let's make them guard 5 people. And they'll put out a lineup that scores points.
So no Jeremy Sohan.
No Sohan, no. Which, honestly, that's... So here's the question. How many minutes would Sohan have played the last 2 months last year?
God.
He would have played some minutes.
He would have played.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a different animal this time around. The fact that they almost won game 3 is looking back was probably kind of crazy. Here's where let me inject some positivity.
Please.
OG, we don't know what's going on. They're in a position where they have to win one of the next 5 games. Obviously, we want them to win 2 of the next 2 games, right? But like,
you mean two of the next 5 games?
Two of the
I would not like them to win one of the next 5 games.
2 of the next 5 games. 2 of the next 5 games. Excuse me. 2 of the next 5 games. They're in a great spot, to make their second consecutive Eastern Conference Finals, which that's the goal. If you have to go a few extra games because of an injury, but I agree with DJ. Like, even if OG's down, even if Embiid's back, find a way to win one of these 2 games in Philly and close it out in game 5. That's
way
all.
Less about this series for me with the OG.
Yes.
I'm still very confident about this series. They've gone up 2-0. We saw the Philly formula tonight, and it's play everybody as much as you can, and it didn't work. And I think it's what you have to do, because you said it. When Maxey sat all 72 seconds, stat of the night, they got outscored. DJ, I know you weren't locked into the watch along, but I don't know if John emphasized it enough how much it was driving me crazy why the Sixers weren't attacking.
We talked about it.
I know you talked about it. I'm saying, like, every possession that Maxey gets the screen and gets the switch, it's a kick to the corner to Quentin Grimes, who weirdly just doesn't like to shoot the ball anymore, even if he's under the rim.
Yeah, he's almost become so, and he beat the Knicks on a couple passes, but you're right. I think he's just like thinking pass first to his detriment.
Right.
For sure. Yeah.
I used to be terrified of the catch and shoot with Quentin Grimes.
Yeah.
So I knew by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, when Maxey's deferring to whoever is on the wing, if it's Grimes, all right, that's going to be a drive because he's not shooting the ball. Like, anytime Cat got brought into the action, either by Maxey or by Paul George or by anybody that was driving, I couldn't understand why it wasn't an immediate, let's try to go at Cat, who, whether or not he's played good defense during the playoffs or not, like, it's still Karl-Anthony Towns with 4 fouls. You don't know how aggressive he's going to be. So some of that could be attributed to fatigue. Some of it can be attributed to poor decision-making, but there's your margin.
Before I leave, I said this already, but I think it was just like the Knicks were doing a good job of keeping Maxey to his left hand, where the drive there is just not as dangerous in terms of drawing the foul versus if he's going downhill to his right hand. So I think it was part fatigue, part scheme, part execution on the Knicks' part to keep Maxey to his left hand, which I think was a really big piece of the puzzle in that second half.
Well said, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're the man. Look forward to whenever the next time it is I get to talk to you.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Be well.
Adios.
Later, guys.
All right. Where did Andrew go? There he is.
Right here. Okay.
I know what's coming.
We have some housekeeping.
I know what's coming.
Shout out to our friends at Fanatic Sportsbook. So another squad bet tonight.
This was mine.
This was John's squad bet. He recommended it. I co-signed it. The squad signed off on it.
What was the? I think at the last minute I was like, if you would rather go with,
with OG instead of McCall was what I suggested.
Was that your suggestion?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But so no, hold on. That would no. I wouldn't change because that would have upped the number.
It would have made the parlay different. We probably would have went with different odds. Yeah.
It would.
So,
and I don't.
Hold
I don't
on.
think
People might be listening and don't know what we're talking about. We're going over our squad bet of the night, and squad bet is the smartest way to parlay, thanks to our friends at Fanatic Sportsbook, where you take 3 to 6 different players in a given game throughout an NBA night. You pick a category and a target for you to hit, and we picked 90 points for Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George. It was plus 130 odds. Jalen Brunson, John, had 26 points.
I am aware.
Mikal Bridges had 18 points.
Great night.
Tyrese Maxey went for 26 points, and Paul George went for 19. We finished with 89 points.
I can't even be mad here.
It's a bad beat. That's all it is. Maxey missed 2 free throws. Paul George missed his only free throw. Brunson missed a free throw. And of course, Mikal didn't take a free throw.
That's mean. Brunson missed the free throw, and Brunson, more than that, there were again 3-4 shots that he was just like, I'm shocked they didn't go down. I mean, look, the spirit of this, the was like, okay, Brunson 35 or more in 5 straight playoff games, right, against this team, and he finished with 26 tonight, and we still only finished a point short. So tough beat, but it's coming. We're getting one of these. It's coming.
So did you notice thank you to our friends at Fanatic Sportsbook. I guess I'm sacrificing our squad bet too, if it means OG Anunoby's hammy is healthy or whatever he hurt is healthy. I don't want to embarrass somebody very close to me, but
you can embarrass me.
No. Well, you are close to me, obviously, but this has nothing to do with you. So you know the highlights lately, have you seen them? These moments where OG Anunoby has gotten hurt and Jordan Clarkson has like pretended to heal him. Right, he sprinkled something and like it's pretended to heal him. I may have a friend that thinks that's real. That it's been the joke in the group chat for over a week. I'm just letting you know now. Got a text from that friend being like, Jordan Clarkson will heal OG, and I can't help but laugh because hopefully that means he's in on the bit. And you know what? If that works, Jordan Clarkson, please heal OG Anunoby. I'll up for anything right now.
It's the one downer tonight. Otherwise, there would be nothing to feel bad about this win. You know, I don't imagine that there was going to be much like, you know, it took you that much or you had to go down to the wire to beat a Embiid-less Sixers team. I think this was just a really solid performance from the Knicks on an imperfect night. Right, it was a really solid performance. So yeah.
You got to win games like this. What's the movie that I like? I don't know if you've ever seen it, A League of Their Own, where Tom Hanks is in that movie. And for my money, it's one of the greatest sports movie characters
Such
ever.
An asshole.
And if I can go even further, I think it's Tom Hanks' best role. At one point in the movie, he's talking to Gina Davis, and he says, when she says, it's just too hard.
Yeah.
Phrasing. He then says, it's supposed to be hard. When talking about playing baseball on the road away from your family, Tom Hanks then says, it's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't, everybody would do it. The hard is what makes it great.
Yes.
And that's a rule I follow for the postseason. If it was easy, we'd have experienced every postseason run without a sweat. Watching that game with you tonight, where it just never got above a 2-possession lead, was gut-wrenching, but I'm glad the Knicks pulled it out.
What's crazy is we haven't had to deal with the disappointment in a little while. This is now 5 straight playoff wins for the Knicks. I'm sure you know the last time they did that.
We talked about this. It's the 99.
Yes, when they won 6 straight, they won the last Miami game, all 4 Hawks games, and then the first game of the Pacers series in the conference final. So they will try to equal that.
And suffered a major injury in that playoffs too.
In game 2, when did Ewing leave? Right, game 2.
He took the last shot of the game, it missed, and then was ruled out between games 2 and 3.
Yeah, and yes, and then the 4-point play was in game 3, right, or game 4.
The 4-point play is game 3.
Game 3, right? Yeah, okay. I'm looking at Tom Hanks' roles, man. I really do think it's my favorite role of his. Let's say it's his best. I'm gonna say it's his most like the thing
what
that
you
they
said
should...
on the. I think it's your. You said it's his best.
I said it's my favorite
performance. Oh, okay. If that's different, then because he plays a guy. He pretends to be drunk for 90 the whole.
No,
90% of the movie.
His best performance is probably Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia. I'm impartial to Private Ryan, even if.
That's very good.
It's a
Mark
pick
says
in the
Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump's very
Forrest Gump's up there. Yeah. He's in decade 5. You know.
I mean, I'm always gonna stand for Carl Hanratty in Catch Me If You Can, but that's Leo. That's Leo's movie.
That's Leo. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. I'm sure the 9,000 people here are definitely here for my takes on Tom Hanks movies.
If you want to hear more takes like this, join us for the watch along on Friday. We're live the entire game. On the Knicks Film School YouTube channel and on Twitter and over on Buzzer. I know we've been plugging that lately. So
yes, shout out to Buzzer.
So join us on Friday with the Knicks try to make this a 3-0 series lead.
Giddy up. He's been in a lot of good movies. Turner and Hooch, good film. Okay, let's do it. Let's talk to people here. I would imagine we got a couple super chats before the end of the game, as we usually do. But shout out to everybody watching. And don't forget, if you are watching right now, if you're not subscribed to the Knicks Film School YouTube channel, please do so. And like this video, because that helps us get noticed, and we appreciate those sorts of things. JDM starts us off. PG built a house with all those second half bricks. When he started off the way he started off, my thought was that this could not last. Just because it's, older player and it's a lot to ask of him. In the second half of this basketball game, Paul George went 2 of 9 from the field, and he missed all 3 of his 2-point shots, did not get to the line. So rough second half of the basketball game for Paul George. Good call out by you. Thanks, JDM. I am AK Legend. Okay, be okay, just cause Embiid F you. It's always Embiid F you. We are an Embiid F you proud stan here at Knicks Film School. Hush Zoo, what's going on, Hush? I hope you relaxed a little bit. Can we just go back to winning by 50 again? By heart, can't take these close games. I was in heaven the last 4 games. Nonetheless, gritty win. Let's go Knicks. That's an interesting. That's an interesting. I wonder how. Look, I'm the same. I'm kind of the same way. I'd rather the big win. There is something irreplicable about toughing out a close playoff victory. Look, is this going to be a playoff win that we will remember for 20 years? Probably not. I will probably. It's funny. I've got to the place where I'm like, I think I know which shots I'll remember from this game. If you ask me about it 5 years from now, the two Brunson middies over Barlow, especially the second one, which was like a rainbow. I will probably remember those. I might remember the Bridges shot. I will probably remember the Hart 3. But yeah, this was a tough win. But you need wins like this, and this is, as Andrew said, it's the hard that makes it great. So there you go. Jason M, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Frustrating game, gritty win. Feel like the Sixers ran out of steam more than the Knicks played well, but kudos to the Knicks for continuing to fight. I want to go back and watch the last 6, 7, 8 minutes of the game. I look, the turnover at midcourt was certainly frustrating. I thought by and large their process on offense throughout the night was like, wasn't A+, wasn't even A, but it was like A-, B+, A-. That was good. I thought it was quite good. In terms, did the Sixers run out of steam? Sure. But the Knicks knew that was an advantage that they would have coming in. And I think they kind of played to that advantage. And I think one might even argue that they adjusted their defensive coverages, which DJ was talking about, to kind of play into that advantage. And the most important thing to me, you nailed it. The Knicks continued to fight. You know, there was never a moment where they even came close to letting go of the rope in this game. And the Sixers were really bringing it. So give them credit for that. Thanks, Chase. Hush with another one. I need this OG update more than life itself. Well, don't stay up tonight expecting anything. I would wager that we will not get anything until tomorrow. Possibility. It's just nothing until Friday's injury report. And maybe he'll be listed as questionable. Fingers crossed. That's it. Fingers crossed. Thanks, Hush. Andrew Bedell, what's going on, man? Nah, OG reaches immediate on the come down on the dunk. Yeah, look, I don't want to speculate. Just fingers crossed. That's all it is. Fingers crossed. Jack Corcoran, what's going on, man? Has to be demoralizing for Philly. That felt like their best punch, given we have shown Embiid's presence won't really matter in this series. Let's go Knicks. I'm not going to go that far. I think Embiid, obviously defensively, there are limitations, but this is also a guy who got both of our centers into foul trouble in the first quarter of game one. And this is also an incredibly skilled basketball player, right? He did not have his best game in game one. That goes without saying. He's capable of like really, really disrupting your team. And I think it's, anytime you have a player like that, and you could honestly, you could kind of put Jalen Brunson into the same category. I'm not comparing Jalen Brunson to Joel Embiid on like several levels, but this one particular thing, when you have a guy that's like killing you on the offensive end, you feel so much pressure. Like, all right, well, we got to take advantage of him on the other end. And that could be demoralizing in its own way, when you don't feel like you're taking advantage of him at the other end. And look, I'm not worried. I think they could beat this team even if Joel Embiid comes back and plays in game 3 and OG does not. But I'm not burying this Philly team just yet. I think they're a prideful bunch, and I think a guy like Maxey, I think Edgecombe's got some real shit to him. Even you want to say Oubre too. Like Paul George he's been through these wars. Like I don't think they're going to give up. I think they're going to come out really ready to play on Friday night, and we'll hope for the best. Thanks, Jack. Danishevsky, the guy we're writing off, apparently. You said it, John. Gutty win. To me, it's the headline. It's probably the title of the Knicks Film School newsletter tomorrow. I hope OG is okay, but this ain't 2 years ago. Philly ain't Indy, and Cat is on one. This is why they got McCall fantastic tonight. I don't even want to project forward about like OG being out for a certain amount of time. Like, look, we could have different conversations about, okay, do they need him if they don't have him for the rest of the series? Like, should they still win? I would say yes. if they don't have him in the next series for however many games. Like, I don't want to go too far down that road. They need him. He is a vitally important player. I think there are arguments that if Mitch and Cat are both healthy, I think you can make the argument that OG Anunoby is on par with Cat in terms of importance. I mean, honestly, like, playoffs tough because, like, you need Brunson in the fourth quarter, but like it's just, you cannot overstate the importance of OG Anunoby. So let's hope he's okay. I will agree. I think being up 2-0, if they lost this game and this injury happened, I think the entire complexion of the series would look and feel very different. I'll just say that right now. If they had lost this game and the OG uncertainty, I think we would be having it would be, the tenor of this would be wildly different, and not just because they lost. So good thing that they got the win, and you move on. Thanks, Kev. Mecky, what's going on, man? Mecky, for anybody watching doesn't know Mecky's game, get familiar. Mecky dips in during these playoff runs with just the absolute most astounding generosity. He was at the game tonight, flew in from Wyoming. Shout out to you. And sorry you didn't see Mitch play, even though you wore your Mitch jersey. Let me read your comment. So, and also I should note that for anybody who missed his super chat during the watch along, was sitting close to the Knicks bench. So this, according to Mackie, coaches weren't sure where OG went. We won in the clutch though. Hope he's okay. Glad our next two are at home as well. Yeah, I haven't even talked about the potential for a lot of Knicks fans to infiltrate. What is it? Wells Fargo? Yeah, Wells Fargo, whatever it is. There'll be a lot of Knicks fans, but look, come out, play your game, go from there. As far as the coaches not being sure where OG went, that's interesting. I mean, it's the last 3 minutes of a playoff game. They're focused on that. So, but just hope he's okay. Thanks, Mecky. Miguel Bustos, what's going on, Miguel? Glad we got tested so adjustments can be made. It's funny. I talked about the concept of adjustments a lot with Benji on Monday night after the game one post game. And, I referenced his point that he made, which is that, the team that wins is the one that forces more adjustments from the other team. I don't know that the Sixers have forced the Knicks to do much adjusting yet. Look, Paul George on Cat, it took Cat out of the offense a little bit. That's certainly something that I'm sure the Knicks will discuss about how to handle that moving forward. But their offense has not been an issue. They're getting good shots. They got a lot of good shots tonight. They just didn't make a ton of threes, so feel very confident moving forward. Andrews or Mark double checked. It was renamed Xfinity Mobile Arena. If you say so, Mark, I'll take your word for it. Thanks, Miguel. Iceman Sham up next. Thank God the Sixers ran out of gas. The crunch time offense got to get ironed out for sure. Those aggressive traps on JB threw us off. I'll push back. I don't think so. I think they had one bad turnover. I want to go rewatch it. I want to figure out why Brunson wasn't able to get the ball out successfully. They've been dealing with these traps for years. They dealt with these traps 2 years ago against Indiana. Now, granted, they had Isaiah Hartenstein on the team then, and Isaiah Hartenstein, in addition to being an exceptional screen setter, was a nice, easy outlet on those. The one play where they did have the turnover on the aggressive trap near half court, as was pointed out during the watch along, number one, the screen probably came a little bit too close to midcourt, so you had the midcourt line as like a third defender there, which wasn't ideal. And also, it just wasn't a great screen. But I trust the late game offense. I trust the late game offense, and I don't think like game 2 against the Hawks, that was a little gnarly at times. put the ball in the hands of your best player and with a mismatch and telling him to go make a shot. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Xfinity Square Garden. Shout out to Jeff Johnson for that one. Sam L. Skates. Hashtag 69 wins. Let's hope so. Kiwi Culper. What's going on, Kiwi? And thanks for joining the watch along today. Thanks to everybody who joined the watch along. We had a great time. Shout out McCall and Deuce on defense. Maxey 7-point second half. Both those guys were really good, and Deuce in particular probably didn't shout him out enough in the monologue. Don't have to shoot well to play well. One, Deuce McBride, the one shot he made was big. Two, exemplified not having to shoot well to play well because he played really, really well in this game. Kat had some kind things to say about Paul George in the post game, saying he's one of his best friends. Sam L. Skates with another one. Shout out to Foreplay. If you know, you know. It's great. I don't know if Foreplay is still around, actually, unfortunately, but shout out to them. Rich McLeod, what's going on, Rich? The team playing 6 guys every night stopped magically making every single shot once the fourth quarter came around. Weird. Fuck Philly. Yes. Always and forever. Look, they don't have the horses. Like, they went to Barlow tonight as essentially the 5 out of necessity. I didn't know what other option. I mean, it is interesting though. Like, Justin Edwards came in, hit a couple threes in game 2 or game 1, and I thought maybe they would go to him. They didn't. They stopped hitting all the threes. I think the more, and again, DJ talked about this, it's not even just that they missed a lot of the threes, it's that they weren't able to generate anything at the basket because the entire fourth quarter offense was like settling for threes. So, and that I think is a sign that yes, they were tired, but it's also a testament to the Knicks defense. I really want to make sure we're giving the Knicks defense enough credit here. I mean, look, when you hold a team to 12 points in a quarter, I'm sure I'm going to hear it. And I already know who the fuck I'm going to hear it from tomorrow about, Philly went cold. Yeah, they went a little cold, and yeah, they were tired. Team scores 12 points in a quarter. You're doing something right on defense, okay? So let's give credit where credit is due because I want to combat that narrative right away before it gains any steam. The Knicks have defended their asses off. And oh, by the way, I believe they will end this night, if not number 1, then number 2 in terms of defensive rating in the playoffs. They actually entered tonight number 2 defensive rating in the playoffs. We'll see if they move up to number 1 after this game. Thanks, Rich. Solomon, what's going on, man? Great job by Mike Brown in this one. Good use of timeouts at the end. He learned. Hopefully OG is okay. I loved the timeouts he used. Had all 4 timeouts down the stretch. Did not use a single timeout in the second half, I don't think. And then used one with like 4 and change left. Use another one with 3 and change left, and then actually used one with a little bit over 2 minutes left. So only had the one timeout for under 2 minutes, and then he used the last one. I forget when it was, but I remember thinking to myself like, "Oh, okay, that's smart there." That's smart there. Great job. He's just coached really well. He's coached really well. I mean, I don't know what complaint anyone would have about Mike Brown since game 3 of the Hawks series. That's a span of 5 games in which he's really, really been very impressive, to say nothing of the fact that the offense that we are watching, the offensive evolution of this basketball team, he's the head coach, man. He gets all the credit. I don't know if it's Chris Gent's playbook or, Mo Cheeks' playbook or whoever's playbook. He's the head coach. He gets the credit. Luyan, what's going on, brother? Well, that wasn't pretty, but glad they got the win. I think I'm higher on this game than a lot of people. I thought the Knicks played. It was gritty. It was a gutty effort. But there was some really high-level basketball that was played by the Knicks in this game. The only thing they didn't do is they didn't make shots. They didn't make threes. You know, I wouldn't. No, it wasn't pretty. I'm not going to disagree with you there. It wasn't pretty, but like, I don't know, man. I thought they played well. I really do. I have a lot of respect for how the Knicks came out tonight. It was gritty, and I thought they also played well. It just wasn't perfect, and we've become spoiled because they've won every game by 8,000 points, and they didn't tonight. Thanks, Liam. Owen Grover, what's going on, Owen? How you doing, man? Great win, but will be a Pyrrhic victory if OG is injured. I am going to go ahead and hit up the old Google. Pyrrhic. I mean, context clues. I could. Pyrrhic victory. A Pyrrhic victory is a success achieved at such a high cost, often losing elite personnel or resources that cannot be replicated. It is tantamount to defeat. I mean, it's great use of the term Pyrrhic victory. Here's a question. How long would OG have to be out for this win to not have been worth it? I.e., if we can, if we could play God for a minute, we could control, like, all right, we're giving back this victory, but OG is okay. I'll just go ahead and say right now, if OG misses the next 2 games, I will still think that that it will still have been worth it to get this win. Again, not that we OG got injured and thus we got the win. So I'm talking nonsense. I understand that. But just from like a theoretical perspective, if OG's out for more than the next 2 games, like if he's out for the rest of the series, man, I don't know. Even if you told me OG missed the rest of the series, I would still feel like they're going to win the series. Again, you don't want to go 7, but then it gets a little dicier. But even if he misses the next 2, DJ said it, and I agree with him. They should still be able to win one, and then hopefully you get him back. Hopefully he misses no time. How about that? Hopefully he misses no time. Thanks, Owen. Oscar, what's going on, Oscar? Maxey had more turnovers in 2 games than in 7 games versus Boston. You remind me of Zach Lowe on his pod talked. I think it was it before game 1, after game 1, whatever. Noted that Tyrese Maxey just never turns the ball over, and he's turned the ball over a shit ton in this series, and that's again a credit to the Knicks defense. Don't want to hear about how this game was all about, Philly missing shots in the fourth quarter. Knicks have done really, really well. I mean, and look, they knew that was the guy they had to stop. Embiid, it's just try not to foul, play him straight up, don't double, like attack him on defense. Maxey's the guy you have to bend your whole defense to stop. They have done a really, really nice job of that through 2 games. Really nice job. But he'll get a boost playing at home, so got to be ready. Connie and Pepper didn't like their fourth quarter process. Did Cat have any touches? Now we await the OG news. Size. Thanks, Macri. Again, this is one of those that make me feel like I may have watched a different basketball game. Was it perfect? No. It's tough in the fourth quarter. It's tough when the opposing team is just going to switch everything and make you earn it like that. Did Cat get a ton of touches? No, he didn't get a lot of touches in the fourth quarter, and that's partially because they put Paul George on him. He had a couple. He had some. But, like, okay, they scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. That wasn't ideal. I thought I didn't think it was the disaster that some people thought it was. Chris Persianen, shout out to former KFS intern Chris Persianen, just said that reporters coming back from the Knicks locker room are saying that OG wasn't in there and that players wouldn't really speak about his health. So I don't know what you want to do with that. Bondi said Josh Hart didn't want to say whether he had an x-ray on his left hand after he heard it tonight. That's from Bondi. Okay. Well, I don't worry about Josh Hart. Josh Hart would play with one arm. So Mr. J Tails. What's going on, Mr. J Tails? With last round's comforting of JB and tonight's settling down of Josh, Cat is officially the team's big brother. I don't really know how to respond to that, but okay. Thank you for the contribution. Appreciate that. Riyadh, what's going on, Riyadh? Third time in 3 seasons, we take a 2-0 lead in the semis. I hope OG is okay. Kudos to the culture built here. In Leon and JB, we trust. Hashtag Knicks culture. I realized I don't know why this just popped into my mind, maybe because you mentioned the score of the series, but when I was like, the Knicks just have to win one of the next 5 games, I realized why I said that, because my brain doesn't always work. For the Knicks to lose this series, they would have to win only one of the next 5 games. So, and I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think this Sixers team is beating this Knicks team, OG or no OG, 4 out of the next 5. I just don't think that's going to happen. So, this is good. This is shout out to New York Basketball's Twitter account. Cal was asked about the moment where he had to take the mop and get the ball out of the stanchion. This is from Cat. Seemed like they were struggling. I wanted to get the game going. I told Maxi I went to Kentucky longer than you, so I have more experience with geometry. Shout out to the amazing teachers we had. What a great quote. What a great quote, and good job by Cat shouting out teachers generally. Gotta love our pedagogues here. Riyadh said this. Many said it when they made it to this round. Do not take this for granted. Do not take this for granted. Like, we are 2 games away from back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals, and had it not been for a team that was completely decimated, remember, wasn't just OG Anunoby that got hurt in that series. Julius Randle also did not play in that series because he was hurt. Mitchell Robinson was out for I always forget whether I think he played a little bit in that series, although now I'm actually doubting myself. I could never keep Mitch's injuries straight. Mitch played game 1 of that series, and that was it. So, like, they were missing guys big time. I think they'll be okay here. But yeah, shout out to the culture and shout out to Jalen Brunson and Leon Rose, the architects. Dom Cappuccini, what's going on, Dom? Up 2-0. I'm still steady at Knicks in 6 for at least 2 more nights. Talk me into Knicks in 5. Talk me into Knicks in 5. Win one of the next 2 in Philly. That's easy. Win one of the next 2 in Philly. Even if Embiid plays, here's the thing. Even if Embiid plays, you are still looking at the same perimeter player rotation that you had tonight. It's still Paul George, Kelly Oubre Jr., Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Quentin Grimes. That's it. They're not going to play Dominic Barlow with a center. Barlow played 16 minutes because the other two guys that played center, Adam Bona and Andre Drummond, could not stay on the court, and they were not tenable defensively. They played 31 minutes combined. So the Philadelphia 76ers are not discovering another perimeter player. If they were going to play another perimeter player, if they were hiding Justin Edwards and waiting to unleash Justin Edwards on the world, or Jabari Walker or Trendon Watford or whoever the fuck, they would have done that tonight because they were down Embiid. Even if Embiid comes back, they're still going to be limited in terms of the perimeter players. And I'm sorry, I don't think the Sixers are going to have another game where they hit 50% of their threes through the first 3 quarters. And I think the Knicks have a really, really good plan in terms of guarding Tyrese Maxey. I think they've largely executed on that plan. I know it wasn't perfect in the first half tonight, but I think they're wearing him down. Is he capable of going off? Yeah. And you know what? He's probably going to go off in one of these games in Philly, and the Sixers probably going to win one of these games in Philly. But man, it's a really good Knicks team. That's the argument. I don't need to talk you into anything. This shit right here, quote, my beloved movie Heat. This shit right here, this sells itself. So all you got to do is look at this team. I would say, for as high as I am on tonight, the Knicks were a little sloppy, missed some shots they normally make, certainly missed threes they normally make. How about that? We've been talking for an hour and a half. I haven't even mentioned the referees in the first half of this game. We're completely one-sided in favor of Philadelphia. Completely one-sided. Final free throw totals probably were a little, Philly 28, Knicks 25. But I thought the whistle was very one-sided in the first half. So I don't know. This is the game that the Sixers had to steal. They didn't steal it. And now it's up to us to steal one of these next, not steal, but just win one of the next two at home. And then if you do that, come home, game 5, put them away. That's where it's at. Thanks, Tom. And again, you're talking to the guy who took Knicks in 7 before the series. So this is from Derek Bodner. Tyrese Maxey says he jammed his right pinky finger in the second quarter. Didn't feel confident dribbling around a lot of traps like I normally do. It's the same one he sprained back in March. He had to wear a splint as he played through the injury. Well, that's just playoffs. Everybody gets banged up. Hush with another one. You can tell there was some real rust in our classifications. I don't know. Did Jalen Brunson look rusty when he was making two or three mid-range jumpers? He looked pretty spry to me. I really got to go back and rewatch the clutch stuff because, it wasn't perfect, but I don't know, man. I didn't feel like they fell flat on their face here. But that's, I guess maybe I'm being overly optimistic because everybody seems to feel very, very negative about how they played in the fourth quarter in the clutch. Anyway, thankfully the Sixers missed everything. Well, again, give some credit to the Knicks defense. Maxey gives me real Knicks PSD. Please be okay, OG. Right. Thanks, Hush. Try to be a little bit more positive. Just a tad. The Knicks have won 5 playoff games in a row, and they are up 2-0 in the conference semifinals. They are favorites to win the Eastern Conference. Perspective. Ant Rich, what's going on, Ant? Maxey can officially join the long and distinguished list of guards the media crowned better than Jalen Brunson right before Brunson personally audited that take in the playoffs. I mean, Maxey, there was a lot of conversation after the Boston series about how, was he the best? Was he the best player in the East? From the first round. Just gonna do a quick little looky-loo here. Are these stats updated? No. What's the NBA.com stats page doing tonight? But Jalen Brunson entered this game as the more efficient shooter than Tyrese Maxey in the postseason. He was generating more points per shot attempt than Maxey was. And in this game, again, 26 points for Brunson, 26 points on 9 of 21, 6 assists, 3 turnovers. Tyrese Maxey, same amount of points, 26 points, but 9 of 23, so 2 more shots, and then 6 assists, same as Brunson, 6 turnovers. So, and then the clutch, Brunson had 2 big baskets. Maxey had the 1-2 that was kind of conceded, and that's it. Appreciate the very, very generous super chat there, by the way, and I particularly appreciate you standing up for Jalen Brunson, who we got to appreciate this. I know. I always get pushed back on this because it's like you make it like we can't criticize him and everybody else is allowed to be criticized. Everybody should be criticized. Jalen Brunson should be criticized when he does something that is worth criticizing. Not his best game, not a perfect game tonight by any stretch, but every time I see him do something like he did tonight, making those clutch shots, it's just like, count your lucky stars. Count your lucky stars that he's here and not in fucking Dallas or wherever else he would be at this point in his career if he didn't decide to come. Thanks, Ant. Anthony Sixto, what's going on? Wasn't pretty, but impressive win in its own way. Playoffs is about winning whatever game is thrown at you. Hashtag 6 down, 10 to go. Hashtag fuck them picks. Fuck them picks is going to make a comeback. The way Mikal Bridges is playing, Mikal Bridges is very, very, very much channeling the fuck them picks energy. So good job by him. Luyen, I really hope OG is okay. He's been so key to our success in the playoffs thus far. Yeah, it's a testament to OG Anunoby that he had an off shooting game, and an off shooting game for him was 24 points on 17 shots. Pretty special stuff. Total plus minus. Brunson first in the playoffs in total plus minus, plus 111. OG Anunoby, or excuse me, coming into tonight, OG second, plus 106. Hold on, I could do math. Brunson tonight was a plus 7. OG a plus 12. So OG actually overtakes Brunson, or ties Brunson, or overtakes Brunson. Hold on. Plus 12, plus 7, plus 111. So tonight, OG Anunoby tied Jalen Brunson for the best plus minus in the playoffs at plus 118. And then Josh Hart, hold on, plus 5, plus 6. And then Josh Hart still in third. Karl Anthony Towns still in fourth. That's your updated plus minus leaderboard. Deuce McBride, by the way, entering tonight was 6th. Jordan Clarkson was 7th. They've been playing so good, man. And Mikal was up to 14th before tonight. He'll move up a little bit. Okay. Thanks, Liam. Dennis DiSabato. What's going on, Dennis? This is starting to feel different, Mac. That's where I'm at, man. More than the, criticism of the crunch time offense and this and that. This year feels different to me. It felt different to me than it did even after the Boston Game 6 win. I don't know. This feels different to me. I can't fully explain it. I think it's a combination of the fact that they are executing Mike Brown's offense to a T. It seems like there is complete and total buy-in. The starting five is playing very well together. Individual players are playing wonderfully. Karl Anthony Towns is playing the best basketball of his career. It feels different. It feels like this is their year, and I'm sorry. I think they will beat whoever they end up if they get to these. If they get to these conference finals, if they get to these conference finals, I think they will beat whoever they play when they get there. I don't. If it's Detroit, it's Detroit. If it's Cleveland, it's Cleveland. I think they win either of those series, and then we'll see. But one step at a time. Thanks, Dennis. Jessica, what's going on, Jess? The message I sent you earlier rings true. The Knicks have to come at every game with intensity as a team, or they can lose easily. Hashtag 2 more to move on. Hashtag let's go Knicks. Yeah, it's the second round of the playoffs. You're not getting any no-shows. Even Philly didn't no-show game 1, just like Minnesota tonight. Minnesota's down by 30. I just shut the game off finally. San Antonio came out like a house on fire, and the Wolves were just very bad offensively. But you're going to get the effort. And if you don't bring effort, doesn't matter who you're playing. You're going to get steamrolled. So come out, bring what you've been bringing. If they keep playing like this, it's the theme of the playoffs so far. Keep playing like this. There's only one team that's going to beat you, and it's the Knicks. But that's not going to happen if you keep playing like this. Thanks, Jess. Justin Richards, what's going on, Justin? We need Jordan Clarkson now more than ever. Please heal OG. Glad Cat stayed within himself in the second half. It was a masterpiece. It was a I don't know who your artist of choice is. Amane, Rodin. He was more of a sculptor, I think, if I recall correctly. I don't know. Picasso, whatever. Karl Anthony Towns. Add his name to the list. He was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. And like I say, he's playing the best basketball of his career. Needing Jordan Clarkson now more than ever, I think Jordan's been good for them. I think he's been really important during the no Brunson minutes. I found it interesting that Mike Brown went away from him a little bit in the second half. I think he probably just wanted a little bit more size defensively. And DJ was correct to mention it. The fact that Clarkson just can't hit a three right now, it makes it a little tough. But I still want to see Clarkson out there for sure. I mean, Mike Brown played 11 guys tonight if you count Jeremy Sohan. So, he's going deep, man. He's going deep. Yes. Please heal OG. Thanks, Justin. Andrew Badal, the Nets, New Jersey Nets. You want a 6th pick? Kindest regards, Mikal Bridges. No. The 5 is fine, but he's earning them, man. He's earning them. Thanks, Andrew. Adam Austin, what's going on, Adam? Was this game the most mentally tough win the Knicks had this year? Clearly frustrated with the whistle, yes. 76ers hitting half of their threes, yes, and couldn't buy a 3 of their own, yes. Never let it get away from them and came away with the win. Adam, you are speaking my love language. This is where I'm at, man. This is exactly where I'm at. I don't know that it's the most mentally tough win they've had all year. Let me take a quick look at the old Knicks game log. Most mentally tough win they've had all year. I mean, coming back from 20 down or whatever the hell they came back from on Christmas, that was pretty impressive. Hang on. I'm looking. Coming back from 20 down on Houston in the fourth quarter, February 21st, second game after the All-Star break. After that Detroit debacle, that was Houston. Houston had a heavy hand in that because they were just very bad on offense in the fourth quarter. But the Knicks also played really well, and they made the plays they had to make. I know the answer. No, this is, I would say, the second most mental toughness or second best mental toughness, whatever you want to say, that they showed this year. The double overtime win against Denver. Because you had the game won in, what was it, regulation or overtime, whatever it was. And then Mikal Bridges got called for that Fakakta foul. I mean, it was a foul, but it was like, it was irrelevant. The shot was missed, and he pushed someone from behind or some nonsense. And you needed to go continue playing basketball to win that game, and you won it pretty convincingly. So I would put the Denver win number 1. I would probably put Christmas Day over Cleveland at number 2. And I would probably put this at number 3. Although this is a playoff game. I don't know. Cleveland Christmas, national TV. Those are the top 3. Right? I think those are the top 3. They have to be the top 3. Yeah. Anyway, good question, Adam. Big Baby David, what's going on? Throwing 5 Pastor Claudio's way for OG can't hurt. We should get a donation link here to donate to the Church of Claudio. S. Ben, you can't spell Philly without 2 L's. Let's go. Yeah. I don't. It's weird. I don't have the hatred for Philly that a lot of fans do. I don't have the hatred for their content creators because I don't take their content creators seriously. I don't have any strong emotions toward the city. It's not a city I visited a lot over the course of my life. I think me and my wife have been there twice since we've been married. Yeah, so I don't have the hatred towards Philly. It's just Embiid. It really is just Embiid and that's why it was weird watching tonight, because not that I was like, obviously I was rooting for the Knicks very hard to win, but it's like the hatred was not there. With Embiid, the hatred is there, and with several other teams and cities and fan bases in particular. Again, I'm sure the Philly fans are like very nasty and impolite if you engage with them. I don't think I've ever engaged with Philly fans. I don't really care to. Again, I just don't really respect them. Thanks, S-Ben. Jessica, what's going on, Jess? Can we not sacrifice Kevin? He annoys some, but no. So this is an interesting dilemma here. If there was a world, I'm not saying that there is or that there should be, but if there was a world that we could sacrifice Kevin Danishevsky to ensure that OG Anunoby, let's say, only missed game 3. Number one, would we do it? And number two, would the manner of sacrifice be the deciding factor? Again, speaking of my religious upbringing, I remember being told that being hung on a cross was particularly painful. So maybe we don't want to go to those lengths, but like if we just shot Kevin in the back of the head, for instance, probably a quick and easy way to go, Yeah, but then we get into all dicey questions about what afterlife does Kevin believe in? Would we be doing him a favor? Because he'd be, who knows? Maybe Kevin could come back as, what would be nice to come back as? I don't know. Butterfly? I have no idea. No, we're not going to sacrifice Kevin. The Knicks will have enough to win this series, even if we don't do that. Thanks, Jess. Fabian Stewart, what's going on, Fabian? Being positive, but one day we'll talk about the scary line between Hart's beast mode takeover energy and the happens to still be productive meltdowns. I didn't see any meltdowns from Hart tonight. I don't think you're saying that we saw any scary line or that we saw a Hart meltdown. You're just saying that he toes the line. I don't know. Look, we've seen some really bad Josh Hart games this year. I didn't think this was a bad Josh Hart game. I think he's doing so much on the defensive end of the floor. He hit that massive three. Some gnarly turnovers. That was the really big ding on Hart tonight. It was some rough turnovers. You want to file that under some bad decision making, but 5 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. Yeah, he didn't have a bad game. Couple rough moments. Didn't have a bad game, though. Thanks, Fabian. Sam Garcia, what's going on, Sam? Halfway to being halfway there. Oh, I see what you're saying. Halfway to winning the series, then once we win the series, we'll be halfway there. There you go. That's good. Whoa! Paresh Jha, thank you very much for the generous contribution. Appreciate you and the entire KFS crew so much. Staying positive for OG. Glad we got through a close win this postseason that was gritty to show we can win in different ways. Cat was 3 assists away from another triple-double. Let's fucking go. You got that right, man. I'm going to say it again. I think Karl Anthony Towns has been the best Knick in the postseason. What we witnessed in the third quarter, I keep going back to what was expected of him when he came into the league and how much faith there was in this guy to be a, no doubt about it, best player on a contending team offensive force, and how his entire career essentially has been a quest I lost my mind about it in the fourth game of the season? When did they lose that Bucks game? Fourth game, fifth game, whatever it was. I think it's fourth game of the season. And I went on the rant before the rant when I was like, for 10 years, we've been trying to unlock this guy. At what point do we stop having the same conversation about why can no coach unlock this player? And when do we start to talk about why this player cannot unlock himself? And watching what we are watching, where he is clearly, very clearly, fully bought in and executing Mike Brown's system using the skill set that he has always had. So who gets more of the credit? Does Mike Brown get credit for the guy who finally unlocked Cat? Does Cat get credit for just buying into the way that Mike Brown wants him to play and then actually executing in the way that Mike Brown wanted him to execute? Or, I guess, sort of an option 3, was all the Cat Mike Brown stuff over the course of the year, less about Cat actively resisting what Mike Brown wanted him to do, and more Cat being frustrated with the fact that he was being asked to do all this. It wasn't easy for him. It was diminishing in a lot of senses. It did put him in a position where there were a lot of games where he was looked at as like the guy that was his fault because the numbers weren't there and the whole thing. And that was just an expression of his frustration as he worked through this process. Now, I think we could go back and watch different games and stretches of games and weeks at a time and say, it doesn't really look like very different from doesn't look like he's been playing into any kind of a different role. But as I always am fond of saying, the statement that development isn't linear, baked within that statement should be an acknowledgement that not only is development not linear, but development is often not going to look how you expect it to look like. And so whatever got us here over the course of however many months from training camp to now, he has found it. He has discovered the secret. Because the way he's playing right now, and I know they put Paul George on him in the fourth quarter, and it was we saw a momentary blip in game 2 of the Hawks series with Jonathan Kuminga. They will figure this out. He will figure this out. He's playing at too high a level. There is no scheme that's going to take Karl Anthony Towns out of a basketball game the way that he's playing right now. Provided he could stay on the floor and not get into foul trouble. Thanks, Paresh. A PAP 1586. If we lose OG, this is going up in flames. I mean, if they lose OG for the rest of the playoffs, then it becomes a very different conversation. Then it's like, oh my God, do they have enough to make the finals? That would be the conversation to me. If they lost OG, it would be, oh my God, do they have enough to make the finals? Right now, I feel very confident that they have enough to make the finals. If they lost OG, I think it might be a different conversation. And then as far as like a championship ceiling, I think that probably changes. Yeah, that changes. But again, let's hope that that's not the case. As I keep refreshing Twitter in case there's an update on there, but I know you're looking to Mark. Josh Hart was talking about foul stuff in the game, and also gave credit to Mikal Bridges for the defense on Tyrese Maxey. Cat was asked about OG, and he didn't give any update. Okay. APAP with another one. OG, and that's the player that's got hurt. We cannot have nice things. Murphy's Law strikes again. Don't be so negative, APAP. Let's wait and see what the report is. Andrew Badow, really glad leveling out our fan base was with the W. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe straight. I think confused with your word order there. I think what you might be implying is like the reactions to this game were maybe a little over the place, but yeah, I don't know. It's good. Glad they got the win. Andrew with another one. Bottom line, Mitchie plays. They don't sniff 102. Yeah, I mean, the absence of Mitchell Robinson, look, is it as big as the absence of Joel Embiid? No, that would be unfair to say that, and I'm the biggest Mitchell Robinson fan in the world. But no, you can't. But it's not, it's like one step down from that. Mitch has been their fourth or fifth most important player in the playoffs, I would argue. I mean, it's been Brunson, OG, Cat, and Josh, I think, in some order. I would put Mitch fifth ahead of McCall. Now, obviously, McCall's played brilliantly the last couple games, and his defense has been very good. But Mitch is, in terms of impact, he's been right there with overall with Bridges. So at worst, Mitch has been, their sixth most important player. It's a big deal to lose that guy. Brolic Jesus, where did you get the shirt? I need it. Well, we made it. This is our Knicks Film School own produce. I'll stand up for a sec so you can see it. There we go. Got that. So this is the call from the end of the Philly game 2 from 2024. It should certainly be available on knicksfilmschool.com. Yeah, you go to merch. Yeah, it's right there. Hold on, I could actually put here. I got it right here. Kev, if you want to, I put the link in our private chat. If you want to pop it in the regular chat. Yes, Alan Hahn, I think, wore this at some point. I don't know where he wore it, but we sent this to a few folks. This is my favorite Knicks Film School shirt that we've ever made. Thanks, Brolic. Knicks fan 316. Didn't tonight seem like a game in past years they give away or come out flat? Even more so than blowouts. This shows how far we've come. Growth. I feel like you don't even have to go back that far. I think this is a game that earlier this year they may not close out. I mean, shit. They didn't close out this game in game 2 of the first round. It was a similar game, and they weren't able to close it out, or game 3, even if you want to go there. I think they've showed tremendous growth. And I think the fact that they won this game on the defensive end, that just bodes so well for them moving forward. The fact that, because you're not going to score every time down the floor. That's why I know there's a lot of complaints about the crunch time offense. It's fucking hard to score late in a big game against a real team. So you got to be able to get stops, and the Knicks can get stops, and credit to them for that. Great comment there. Brian Lest, what's going on, Brian? I started watching the Knicks the year PJ Brown's BS cost us one last MJ matchup. Truly don't know what universe we're living in where they don't play close to their A game, and the result is a 5th straight playoff win. Amen to that. Yeah, it's a testament to Leon Rose. It's a testament to Leon Rose for building this thing and for making some tough decisions, for making some bold moves, that he's gotten a lot of shit for, including from me and others on this channel. It's really, really, really hard to go from not only like one of the 2 or 3, whatever, worst teams in the NBA to a team that is in this position, but to go from point A to point B when you do not have the benefit of a top lottery pick to grab a generational talent. It's I don't know if ironic is the right word, maybe not, probably misusing it. fitting, I guess is the better one, where the image of this team over the years, which and the image that very much I think was on full display tonight, which is like workmanlike, right? Workmanlike. They will get it done. It may not always be pretty. Sometimes it will be one way. Sometimes it will be a different way. Different people contributing in big spots. That workmanlike effort that we often see with this basketball team is kind of how the basketball team was built. You know, with all due respect to the Bridges trade, which was obviously a big swing, and the Cat trade, which was a big swing, you know, this has been putting one foot in front of the other for 6 years now. Obviously, there were some bigger swings in there than others, but like, he's done a really good job. He's done a really good job for all the shit that he's gotten at times. He's done a really good job. And it's tough to look at this team right now and not give him credit for this vision. Because it's plain as day right now. Thanks, Brian. Robert Cross. Hello, Robert. How are you? First time, long time. It's your boy, John. You are not the biggest Mitchell Robinson fan in the world. Hashtag 53 wins. No, you are the biggest Mitchell Robinson fan in the world, Robert Cross. I know that. Another one from Robert. First time, long time. It's your boy, John. I will sacrifice Kevin if it means no more trade machine. Hashtag 53 wins. No, nobody will be sacrificing Kevin today. I'm putting my foot down. Not going to happen. Kevin's going to be alive and well. Haitian Ferg, what's going on? Oh my goodness gracious. I have started a thing. If we shoot Kevin, do we also get some picks back? All love, Kev, really. I always loved your guesses in our town hall trivia. Miss you already. This is great. Maybe there's our playoff t-shirt. Don't shoot Kevin. That's it. Kevin Danishevsky, is this the last one? Oh no. Okay. Andrew, I sacrifice you. Leave me alone now. Or now leave me alone. Blame me, Kev. And then Kevin, Robert, who loves Embiid, is sacrificed. Robert does not love Joel Embiid. I don't know that anyone hates Joel Embiid more than Robert. He loves Mitch more than anybody, and he hates Joel Embiid more than anybody. And those two things are absolutely connected, by the way. Thanks, Kev. Couple more. Oh, my goodness. We got another very generous one from Tanu J. Thank you so much for the contribution, Tanu. My Knicks group chat is 25% fueled from KFS content. So just want to show you some love. Paresh got a comment in before, so now I had to come here and get one in too. Go KFS, go Knicks. Need Clarkson's healing magic on OG's leg. Oh, I think that's why that commenter earlier was like, we need Clarkson more than anyone. That makes sense now. That makes more sense. I'm a little slow on the uptick sometimes. My apologies. I hope in your KFS or in your Knicks group chat, there's a lot of making fun of me in there. I would be disappointed if there weren't. No, man, but thank you. This is really kind, very kind, generous contribution for one. It will never not astound and amaze me that people not only consume our content, but it factors into how they fan and in such a significant way. So thank you for that. It means quite a bit, and it makes wins like this even sweeter if you could believe that, because they're pretty sweet on their own. But when you get stuff like this, it's really cool. And on behalf of the entire Knicks Film School team, I would say thank you very much. And then Robert Cross is the last one, Mark. Oh no, we keep getting them coming in. First time, long time. It's your boy John. These super chats are unseemly. I don't know what to say to that, Robert. And then Aaron Christmas, this team is worth every pick, every player, every penny. That's good. Yeah. They're really good. They're really good. They overcame no Mitch tonight. They overcame cat and foul trouble, only 27 minutes. They overcame a really, 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 really hot shooting team for 3 quarters. And they found a way to win. It's good stuff. They're good. They're really good. Let's see if they can be great. And then we got Sam Garcia's dad. Thank you, Ray. This is very generous. The entire Garcia fam is in Columbus as Sam graduated with his master's degree today. Hey, congratulations, Sam. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's really cool. We had dinner in a private room at a steakhouse that had a TV on the wall, and the Knicks game was on. A perfect end to a perfect day. That sounds really, really cool. I'm very jealous that you guys got to watch it in a private room at a steakhouse. I'd like to go to a private. I'd like to go to. I'll have my steak in the bathroom. I don't really care. I just want to go to a steakhouse. It's been a while. But that's great. Congratulations to Sam, and also, congrats to the first family of Knicks Film School, the Garcias. I miss. Getting the super chats occasionally from Sam Garcia's toaster and Sam Garcia's, neighbor's dog. But this was pretty cool and very cool accomplishment for him and for your entire family. So shout out to you guys. And then Brian with another one. For the record, I would sacrifice 40 Kevins to see Kat holding the O'Brien trophy at midcourt saying to Breen, I'm still trying to figure out my role. Man, what would I not sacrifice to see the Knicks win a championship? I would not sacrifice Kevin. Kevin's a dear friend. I would not sacrifice a living human. How about that? Mark says your children. No, I would not sacrifice my children. That's great. That was good, Mark. God, I don't know. I don't know what I'd sacrifice. Would I give up pizza for the rest of my life? Yes. Pizza is my favorite food, for anybody who's wondering. I would give up pizza for the rest of my life, but that's also partially because I probably shouldn't be eating pizza anyway. Man. Start getting into what toes would you sacrifice? I don't know. A few. Probably. I can't sacrifice my hand because I type. So, can't do that. I don't know. I'd sacrifice a lot. What would be great is if they win it without us having to sacrifice anything. That'd be great. Oh, Mark was saying that I would not sacrifice my children. I thought you were like, yeah, Macri might say yes to this one. No. Oh God, we have 9,000 people watching. Every one of them thinks I'm probably deranged. All right. Anything else? Let's get out of here on human sacrifice. Love where this post-game show went tonight. Hey, thanks everyone for watching another edition of the Knicks Film School Post-game show presented by FANATICS Sportsbook. Shout out to Mark on the ones and twos. Gonna get me in trouble here. Shout out to Andrew Claudio, DJ Zullo for his great insight at the top. Obviously, shout out to our presenting sponsor, FANATICS Sportsbook. And thank you to all the people who watched tonight. Hey, if you dig the show, again, best, easiest thing you could do. We love the super chats, but even something as simple as a like, a subscribe. And then if you are kind enough to go the extra mile, give us a little rating or a review. All that stuff is great. Very excited to write about this win for the Knicks Film School newsletter on Substack, which you could feel free to check out as well. Just Knicks Film School. I should know. What is my Substack address? Let me pull it up. Oh yeah, Knicks Film School knicksfilmschool.substack.com. That's pretty easy. I should probably commit that to memory. All right, I will be back. We will be back. I'll be back with a playoff hangover tomorrow with I think we're getting Jeff and Sean, so that's exciting. Always great to celebrate a win with those guys. We'll see if we have an OG update. We'll try to maybe time out that show if it's possible for after an update, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. And then be back with another watch along on Friday night for Game 3, and then another post game afterwards for Game 3. And I'll just keep signing off this like I've been signing off the last bunch, which is hopefully those next watch along and post game shows are as celebratory as this one. And OG, please be okay. We love you. We support you. We pray for you. But we will not sacrifice a human for you. All right. Talk to everybody later. Peace out.